Hello there, people of YouTube. Crit Capital is back here with another deck profile. Today we have my buddy Tim's Dark Irregular Amon build. Probably the fastest way to play Dark Irregular. Very powerful, very heavy hitting, also on your wallet. But it's still a very strong Dark Irregular deck. Probably the best that you can actually play Dark Irregulars. All the other builds are good. They're like, don't get me wrong. But Amon's just very fast. It's very powerful. But you'll see when we get into the video. But with that said, let's get going. So, for our starter, we play Amon's Follower, Barmaid Grace. So what he does is Counterblast 1, Rest. If you have an Amon Vanguard, you Soul Charge 2, and you use another one of your rear guards, and that unit gets the ability, this unit gets plus 1,000 for every card in your soul. So, he's basically a little Amon giver. So, anything you could choose any rear guard, a booster, an attacker, whatever, and they get plus 1,000 for every other card in your soul. And given the fact that this deck soul charges like a monster, you're going to be hitting heavy columns every single time. This fuels the soul, this stays on the field with a rest, it gives out power. Probably the best starter that you could play for Dark Irregular, especially in Amon build, because it's only for Amon. So, very good starter. You need to play this starter. Very fast, very powerful, very aggressive. It's very strong, and it's a must play. Alright. So, on to the big main man himself. We play for Amon's leader, Astaroth, and 3 Demon World Marquee Amon. Now, you can't play Amon at 4. 3 is fine. I mean, you only really need the Legion once, so if you can get that Amon in there, yeah, it's fine. So, we're going to start with Amon, Astaroth. What he does is, if this unit is Legion, this unit gets a crit for every 10 cards in your soul. Then he has a secondary ability, is when your opponent's rear guard is put into the drop zone due to the effect of one of your cards, if you have another unit with Amon in its card name in your middle column, Soul Charge 3. This ability cannot be used for the rest of the turn. So it's good because, say, if you have over 10 cards in the soul, you're always hitting with crit. And it's very good in comboing with his mate because his mate, it just gets all the power. So let's go over that real quick right now. What Amon does, the mate, is during your turn, this unit gets plus 1,000 for each Dark Irregular in your soul. And then the secondary ability is Counterblast 1, choose one of your Dark Irregular rear guards and put it into your soul. Your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. So, pretty much, they both just help each other. Amon gives the power, Astaroth gives the crit. Amon gets to retire, Astaroth gets that soul charge. They go hand in hand, they help out so well, and by the time that you get into that late game and you ride into Astaroth and you do that Legion, you're already sitting at over 10 cards in the soul because of all the other soul charging that this deck does. It's very fast, very powerful, you're hitting heavy numbers, crit all the time, retires, it's amazing. This deck is a little heavy on the counterblast, so you got to be a little wary sometimes, but other than that, it's phenomenal. It's very heavy hitting, very fast. And that crit in there is just nice. Especially if you're sitting at 20 cards in your soul for some reason. 2 crits, what can go wrong? It's just like instant killing your opponent if that thing ever hits. It's attacking for over 40k. It's just like insane. And then for our last grade 3 slot, we play 1 Sweet Predator. So basically what she does, let me see real quick. During your main phase, when a card is put into your soul, this unit gets plus 3. So, of course, it's not an Amon. She's kind of just a placeholder at the moment currently. So she can either be swapped out for another Amon, if you want to play 4 of him, or Amon Reverse, because Amon Reverse is still very good in this deck. He's not out of date at all. He can be very clutch, especially if you ride over Amon, making him a 13k base. But, I mean, for what she does, she's not bad. It's just like, you got to be careful, considering that she isn't Amon. It can shut down the rest of your deck. So like I said, she's just a placeholder for now. But definitely either Amon or Amon Reverse in that last spot. Or you can play 7 grade 3s. Either one is fine if you want more grade 2s or grade 1s. Alright, so speaking of grade 2s, we play 2 Amon's Follower, Hell's Nail. What she does is when she attacks a Vanguard, if you have an Amon Vanguard, Counterblast 1, Soul Charge 3. Very good. She herself doesn't need to be boosted, so you can just swing at the Vanguard for nothing if you really just want that Soul Charge. So she's really good. 2 or 3 is pretty good. You don't want to see too much of her because a lot of the rest of your deck does Soul Charge a lot, and she doesn't really gain power unless you use the starter. So you want to be a little careful, but 2 or 3 of her is really nice to have. She's a very good support card. And on to our next grade 2, we have Amon's Follower, Psycho Grave. So basically what he does, let me see real quick. What he does is Counterblast 1, when this unit is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, if the number of Dark Irregulars in your soul is 6 or more, you may pay the cost. If you do, Soul Charge 1, and this unit gets plus 5,000 to the end of the turn. So, turns into a 14k attack, gets you that 1 quick Soul Charge. Very good for building more columns, which besides a starter, Dark Irregular can use if you want to hit that those heavy hitting columns. So, turning into a 14k attacker, especially on turn 2, if this is your first ride or your first call and you're on your grade 2 turn and your opponent's still sitting at that 9k grade 2, it's really good for rushing them down. Early game rush is always nice. And considering that this deck really just needs the Amon name and all the cards in this deck are Amon, you can get that Soul Charge in pretty quick. So as soon as you get that 6 cards in your soul and you call this thing out, you're hitting for 14, which is pretty tough to guard at grade 2. So for more heavy hitters, we have Amon's Follower, Ren Greenland, and then we play at 2, and then 2 Demon of Aspiration, Amon. So what they do, Greenland is a 12k attacker if you have an Amon Vanguard, very simple. And then what this Amon does right here is he's an 8k. If you have 6 or more cards in your soul, he gets plus 3,000. So it turns him into 11k attacker. You're always going to have 6 or more cards in your soul, so it's never really a problem. So he's a very good card to have. Makes columns. 11k attackers are nice, especially in the way the games are played currently. As long as you can keep that 11k attacker, you can still swing at the Vanguard. It's very nice. So those are our 2 little powerhouses right there in grade 2. And then for our last grade 2, we play 3 Amon's Follower, Hell's Draw. So what she does is when she's placed on Rearguard, if you have an Amon Vanguard, Soul Charge 2. Really nice, very speedy. Can be used on any other card because all they need is just the Amon name. So it's a very nice card to have. Get some quick Soul Charges in there, especially on that grade 2 rush. And very, very potent. Alright. So, on to grade 1s. For our first grade 1, Amon's Follower, Vlad Specula. He is the Amon Perfect Guard. This one doesn't really matter. You could play the G Perfect Guard if you really want to, which can be pretty good. Gets you that unflipping. But this is really just as a just in case. Like if you get him in the damage zone, you still have the Amon Counterblast if you need it, or if you need to call him, or possibly even ride him for some reason. So since he has the Amon name, it actually really does help out. But either him and the G Perfect Guard, 3 or 4, very good. Not much needs to be said there with Perfect Guards. And now we play 4 Amon's Follower, Hell's Deal. She's basically the mini version of grade 2. What she does is place on Rearguard, Amon Vanguard, Soul Charge 2. Very nice, especially in the early game since the rest of your grade 1s are Amon. So, very nice if you have her in the hand and get some quick Soul Charges in there. Which, like I said, it's not that hard to get the 6 in your early game. And now we play Poet of Darkness, Amon. Basically the mini version of the other grade 2. 6 or more cards in the soul, gets plus 3,000. So he turns into a 9k booster or attacker during your turn. So, really nice, sets up power, good columns. Not much else needs to be said there. And then we play Amon's Follower, Fu Greenland, which is basically the mini version of the grade 2. These are like little evolutions. Basically the 10k attacker if you have Amon Vanguard. Like I said, nice. If you need to use him as an attacker, it's good. He still attacks for 10. Good at building up columns. Very nice unit to have. Alright, so on to our triggers. we play 8 crit. Let me just separate these real quick. All right, so you can play your crits in any way, but a really good way, really good method would be 4 Nightmare Land and 4 of this guy. His name is Amon's follower, Growsome. So basically what Growsome does is a crit. Counterblast 1 card with Amon in its card name. When this unit is put into your soul due to an effect of from one of your cards, if the number of cards in your soul is 6 or more, you may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. So he's good in combination with Amon. If you see your opponent setting up stuff that you don't like at all, even though they still have to choose, you're still minusing their field. So sitting on Amon, Counterblast 1, move him into the soul, retire another unit. His skill goes off, Counterblast 1, retires another unit. So he's a very good option to have. It does suck that they do get to choose what is retired, but you know what? You can't be too picky. Gets and retires, and especially in a deck like this, that's pretty potent. And then Nightmare Land, what he does, put him in the soul, give +3. So you can play your crits any way you want, but 8 crit is very, very deadly, especially in this deck. So 8 crit is a must play. On to draw triggers. We play 4 Amon's follower, Psychic Waitress. She doesn't do anything. There isn't really much of a draw trigger that does much for Dark Regular anyway. So basically, just to keep the Amon name, we use the Amon draw trigger. Draws are nice, especially since Dark Regular do need the draws. They don't do drawing much. They're very fast and aggressive, but their defense is a little lacking. So you do want the draws in here. You can play stands if you want, if you really want to go for that true aggro, but we want to stick to a little bit more, a little on the defensive side, considering that we feel that the deck doesn't really need it. And then for the Amon heal. Basic there. Just to keep the Amon name, we use the Amon heal. And now on to strides. I do apologize. We are still working on Tim's stride zone, so it's not full, but they are still really good strides, and his stride zone is very potent. So we have 3 Great Demon, Soulless Demagogue. I probably just butchered that name, but you understand the gist of it. So that's what he looks like. Let me see real quick. So what he does is during your main phase, when a card is put into your soul until the end of turn, this unit gets, during your turn, all the units in your front row get +1,000. So that's very good because literally every single card that goes into your soul, your front row is getting 1,000. So you soul charge 3, front row is getting 3,000. You soul charge somehow 5, your front row is getting 5,000. So it's very nice, builds up power, basically does a little bit of what Amon does, and just gets the and gets power out to your front row while you're in your stride. So your Vanguard's hitting heavy with a triple dry check, and so are your rear guards. And it still works because if you're sitting on that Amon, he takes the Amon name, so the rest of your skills are going off. It's very good, very deadly, very heavy hitting. And then we play 2 Abominable 1, Gilly DeRay. This is probably better played at 4, but like I said, we're still working on a stride zone, so this will be complete soon, but it's good right now as an understanding. So what it does is, once per turn, choose a face-down card, naming the Abominable 1, Gilly DeRay, from your Z-zone, turn it face up. The number of cards in your soul is 10 or more, this unit gets +10,000. Then, if the number of cards in your soul is 15 or more, until the end of turn, this unit gets, when this unit attacks a Vanguard until the end of that battle, your opponent cannot call grade 1s or greater from hand to guard. And then if the number of cards face up in your Z-zone is 2 or more, this unit gets a crit. Like, this card is just, oh my god, scary to see. Late game, 5 damage. Like, Amon builds up the soul so quick and so fast. All you really need to do is stride twice, and then you're sitting on this scary guy. He gets +10,000. They cannot guard with grade 1s or greater. So perfect guards are out of the question. So with a booster, he's attacking easily over 40,000. He gets a crit if you're sitting on your second stride. It's just brutal what this card can really do. Like, even if you didn't want the crit, you can go into him on your first stride and still swing for 36,000 base, and they cannot guard with grade 1s or greater. And then, mixed in with the starter, if you really wanted to get scary with this thing, with the starter, You counterblast 1, rest that thing. This unit is getting another 1,000 for every card in your soul. So by the time that you have that 15 or more, he's getting another at least 15,000 to his power. Oh, and the fact that the starter soul charges too, that's at least 17. So he's at least getting 17,000. That's making him attack on his own for 53. With that boost, you're more than likely going to have a 7k booster, 60,000 on his own. They cannot guard with Grey Woods the Greater. This guy is deadly. Like, this is the guy you want to stride into first or second. You can't stride into it first if you really wanted to. If you get into them at 5 damage and you're like, you know what, let's just end this, stride into him if you haven't stridden already. So, very good. Must play at 4. In Dark Irregular, any Dark Irregular deck must play at 4. Such a powerful card. And that's it for the Stride Zone. You can play the Amon Stride. He's okay. If you really just wanted to fill up the rest of your Stride Zone, you can play him at 1. I don't see you playing him at more than that, but he's still alright. Something good to just take in there if you really needed to. But, yep, that's it for Dark Irregulars, guys. Like I said, Amon is very fast, it's very powerful, and very deadly. Hits heavy numbers, crits all the goddamn time. Like, there's just so much power going everywhere. Let me add this too. Another good stride to have is Kill Tempest. She's a succubus stride. I don't remember her name off the top of her head, but she gets you a draw mechanic. So that's another stride that you should play in this deck. But like crits, power, if you have that stride, draws, you know, this deck is just so fast and so aggro. It's really scary. If you're playing this deck, you gotta shut it down fast. If you don't, you're just gonna have a hard time dealing with all the power and everything that's just going everywhere. So, with that said, guys, that is it for this deck profile. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And the next video we probably will be doing is a match with one of the 4 decks that we've already showcased. So, between Gold Paladin, Murakumo, Grand Blue, and Dark Irregular, you'll be seeing one of those clans go at it. So, that's something to look forward to in our next video. But, as always, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.